A long time ago, there was a king named Robert. His father had arranged his marriage in his childhood to Amelia, the daughter of his friend. When they both grew up, their wedding was celebrated with great pomp and grandeur. A few years later, they were blessed with a lovely son. Robert organized a grand celebration in the palace and invited great kings, nobles, saints, and all the peoples of his kingdom. But as soon as Robert showed his son to the saints, their expressions suddenly changed. Robert asked, "What happened, revered ones? Why do you all look so worried after seeing my son?" The saint said, "We would like to discuss this with you in private." Then they left the royal court and went to the king's chamber. Robert asked, "What's the matter, revered ones? What is it that you didn't want to say in front of everyone?" One of the saints said, "Robert, it pains me to say this, but your son will not be like you at all. The love and compassion you have for your people will not be present in him. Unlike you, who are a just and caring ruler, your son will become a cruel, ruthless, and merciless king." Robert said, "What are you saying, revered one? After me, my son will have to rule this kingdom. If what you say turns out to be true, what will happen to my people?" The saint replied, "This is exactly what worries us." The king then asked, "Is there any solution to this?" The saint said, "There is only one solution. At the exact time your son was born, a girl was also born. She is the only one who can guide your son onto the right path." According to the saints, not far from Robert's kingdom, there was another king, Michael, whose daughter had also been born that very day. Like Robert, he had also invited great kings, nobles, and saints. When the saints saw the baby girl, they said, "Your daughter is very fortunate. Wherever she goes, she will change the fate of that place." King Michael said, "Revered ones, could you give my daughter a beautiful name?" The saints replied, "Very few in this world will have a destiny like hers. We will name her Sophia." As time passed, Princess Sophia grew up to be the kind, respectful, and loving towards everyone. On the other hand, Prince Perv behaved cruelly toward everyone. Seeing his son's behavior, Robert remained very worried. Eventually, the time came to appoint Prince Perv as the next king. Robert organized a grand ceremony and in front of everyone declared him the next ruler and crowned him king. After the coronation, Robert went to the saints and said, "Revered ones, we have crowned the prince, but I am deeply worried about my people. I have raised them like my own children, and everyone knows how cruel the prince's behavior is." The saint said, "Don't worry, Robert. It's only a matter of a few days. That girl will completely change the prince." Meanwhile, King Perv announced, "From today onward, I'm the king of this kingdom. It would be better for all of you to obey whatever I say without question. Otherwise, the punishment will be so severe that it will send chills down the spine of anyone who sees it." After a while, an old man came into the royal court and said, "Your Highness, I have been wrong. Please give me justice." The prince said, "What happened to you?" Just then, some of the prince's friends entered the place and said, "Nothing happened, Perv. We killed this old man's cow." The old man said, "Your Highness, I'm very poor. That one cow was all I had. It was the only way I could feed myself and my family. Now we will starve to death." Prince Perv said, "How dare you come to the court and complain about my friends? Get out of here at once." The old man said, "But your Highness, this is wrong." The prince in anger said, "How dare you call me wrong? Soldiers, take him away and kill him the same way his cow was killed." Following the prince's order, the soldiers brutally killed the old man. His screams spread a chilling silence throughout the entire kingdom, as if such horrors had now become a daily occurrence. The prince's cruelty was increasing day by day. The entire kingdom lived in fear of him. Meanwhile, on Princess Sophia's birthday, King Michael organized a grand celebration. He invited great saints as well as kings from distant lands. As soon as the saints arrived, Michael greeted them respectfully and had food served. Michael had arranged two kinds of meals, one vegetarian, especially for the saints, and the other non-vegetarian for the kings from distant lands. However, by mistake, the cook served the non-vegetarian food to the saints. As soon as the saint took a bite, he stood up in anger. Michael said, "What happened, revered one? Why do you seem so angry? Have you made some mistake?" The saint, in a furious voice, said, "Did you invite us here to insult us?" Michael said, "But what happened?" The saint said, "Even after knowing that we are saints, you served us non-vegetarian food. Because of you, years of our penance have been ruined. We curse you. You will not live to see tomorrow's sunrise, and your kingdom will be destroyed." As the saints had said, Michael died that very night from a snake bite. After Michael's death, kings from neighboring states attacked his kingdom. The situation became so dire that Princess Sophia had to leave the palace. As she wandered, the princess eventually reached Prince Purv's kingdom. That day Prince Purv had gone out hunting. Suddenly his eye fell upon Princess Sophia, who was sitting under a tree in the forest. The moment he saw her, it was as if his spirit stopped. She looked like a celestial maiden descended from heaven. Prince Purv approached her and said, "If you don't mind, may I ask you something?" The princess replied, "Yes, please ask." The prince said, "Who are you, and what are you doing here in the forest?" The princess introduced herself. "My name is Sophia, and I am the daughter of King Michael. After my father's death, kings from other states attacked our kingdom, which forced us to leave our palace and homeland." The prince asked, "Then where will you live now?" The princess said, "I don't know." The prince said, "If you don't mind, you may stay in my palace." The princess replied, "I don't want anyone to suffer because of me." The prince said, "What are you saying? How could your presence possibly cause us any trouble?" Then Prince Purr ordered a chariot for the princess, and the two of them set off toward the palace. On the way, the princess noting soldiers brutally beating a group of poor laborers, she said, "Your Highness, look over there. While you are here, these poor workers are being oppressed. Please stop those soldiers." The prince thought to himself, "How can I tell her that it was I who ordered them to beat this man?" The princess said, "Your Highness, why are not you saying anything?" The prince raised his voice and said, "What's going on over there?" The soldiers came running and said, "What's it, Your Highness?" The prince said, "Why are you beating those poor laborers?" The soldiers replied, "But it was you who ordered." Before they could finish, the prince interrupted angrily. "First you make a mistake, and now you dare argue. Leave at once." Then the prince thought, "I was saved today, otherwise the princess would have realized how bad I truly am." After some time, they both reached the palace. The prince showed the princess her room and ordered the maids to make sure she faced no discomfort of any kind. The next day, Prince Purr went to Princess Sophia and said, "Princess, are you all right? I hope you're not facing any trouble here." The princess replied, "Yes, I'm fine, and thank you so much. You have done so much for me. You're very kind." The prince said, "If you don't mind, would you like to go around the kingdom with me?" The princess said, "Yeah, of course. Your kingdom is very beautiful." Then the two of them set out to explore the kingdom. The prince said, "Come, today I'll take you to my favorite place." Prince Purr took the princess to his garden, which was filled with colorful flowers, waterfalls, and ponds. The prince asked, "How do you like my favorite place?" The princess replied, "It's very beautiful." Then the two sat by the pond and started talking. The prince said, "By the way, what's your name?" The princess replied, "Sophia. And yours?" The prince said, "Purv." After a while, evening fell. As they were returning to the palace, an old woman was passing by carrying clay pots on her head. Suddenly one of the pots fell from her basket onto the princess's foot, injuring her. The prince in anger said, "Soldiers, take that woman away and throw her into prison." The princess said, Prince, I'm fine, and this is not her fault. She didn't do it intentionally. Please let her go. For the first time in that kingdom, the prince didn't punish someone. As days passed, Prince Pearl fell in love with Princess Sophia. One day he thought, today I'll finally tell the princess how I feel. But on that very day, the princess learned the truth about the prince, that he had only been pretending to be good in front of her, while in reality he was cruel and merciless, and he oppressed his people. Just then the prince arrived and said, Princess, I want to tell you something. I love you very much. From the moment I first saw you, I fell in love with you. Will you marry me? The princess replied, No, I'll not marry you. Marriage is far from it. I don't even want to see your face. For the first time in his life, the prince had been refused. The people of the kingdom said, What has the princess done? The prince is not used to hearing no. Saying no to him is like inviting death. The prince said, May I know why you're so upset with me? The princess replied, Because you have been lying to me all this time. You were pretending to be good, while in reality you're cruel and heartless. You have no compassion for anyone, and now you will punish me too, won't you? Because I say no, and you don't like hearing no. So tell me, what punishment will you give me? Will you throw me into prison, or will you have me killed? The prince said, I know I'm a bad person, and I have done many wrong things to people, but earlier I never realized it since I met you. I have come to understand how wrong I was. I fold my hands and ask for forgiveness from you and from the people of this kingdom. If possible, please forgive me. The people of the kingdom said, Princess, ever since you arrived, the prince has truly changed. Please forgive him. At the request of the people, the princess agreed to marry the prince, and in this way, a kind-hearted princess transformed a cruel and merciless prince.